You never thought it would happen to you. You are the person who feels everything. The one who carries everyone's emotions. The one who cannot walk past suffering without stopping. The one who cares so deeply that it physically hurts sometimes. The one who has made caring your entire identity. And then one day, without warning, you stop. Not gradually. Not after some big dramatic event. Just suddenly. You wake up and realize you do not care anymore. Not about the person who has been draining you for years. Not about the relationship that requires you to disappear. Not about the outcome you have been desperately trying to control. You just stop caring. And it terrifies you. Because if you are not the person who cares, who are you? But something else happens too. The moment you stop caring, everyone around you panics. The people who took your caring for granted suddenly realize it is gone. And they do not know what to do with you now. This moment is more powerful than you realize. Because an empath who stops caring is not an empath who has lost their empathy. It is an empath who has finally learned that caring about people who do not care about you is not empathy. It is self-destruction. You remember when you used to care about everything. When their mood determined your entire day. When their approval felt like oxygen. When their disappointment in you was unbearable. When making them happy was more important than your own peace. When you would twist yourself into shapes that hurt just to keep them comfortable. That version of you is gone. And the people who benefited from that version are panicking because they know what this means. It means you are no longer available to be used. No longer willing to absorb their chaos. No longer interested in managing their emotions while neglecting your own. It means the free emotional labor has ended. And they do not know how to function without it. Carl Jung understood this dynamic. He taught that people are only as sick as they are secret. The people in your life kept secrets from you. Not the kind you can speak out loud. But the secret of how much they were taking. The secret of how little they were giving. The secret that they never actually cared about you the way you cared about them. And as long as you kept caring, they could keep that secret. But the moment you stopped, the secret was exposed. They were revealed as the takers they always were. And now everyone can see it. Including you. This is why they panic. Not because they miss you. But because they miss what you did for them. They miss having someone who would always be there. Always understand. Always forgive. Always give one more chance. They miss the version of you that made their life easier while making your own life impossible. You have seen their panic in real time. The sudden attention when you pull back. The love bombing when you stop reaching out. The promises to change that only come after you stop caring whether they change or not. The crisis that emerges the moment you start prioritizing yourself. This is not love. This is control. They are panicking because you are no longer controllable. For your entire life, caring has been your currency. The way you earned love. The way you proved your worth. The way you bought your place in people's lives. You believed that if you cared enough, gave enough, felt enough, eventually people would care back. But they never did. Or they did, but only enough to keep you hooked. Only enough to keep you caring. Only enough to maintain access to everything you provided while giving back the bare minimum. And somewhere deep inside, you always knew this. But you kept caring anyway because stopping felt impossible. Because you convinced yourself that caring was who you were. That without it, you would have nothing to offer. That people only wanted you for what you could give them emotionally. But the moment you stop caring, you discover something that changes everything. The people who only wanted you for your caring disappear. And the ones who remain are the ones who actually valued you. Not for what you did, but for who you are. This is the gift hidden in the moment you stop caring. It reveals who is real and who is performing. Who genuinely loves you and who is using you. Who sees you as a person and who saw you as a resource. The panic you see in people when you stop caring is their fear of being exposed. Of losing access to something they never appreciated until it was gone. Of facing the reality that they have been taking from someone who has nothing left to give. But their panic is not your responsibility. You are not required to keep caring just because your absence of caring makes them uncomfortable. You are not obligated to maintain the performance of empathy for people who never reciprocated it. Jung taught that the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. Accepting yourself includes accepting that you cannot care about everyone, that your empathy is finite, that protecting your capacity to care means being selective about who receives it. The moment you stop caring is the moment you start accepting yourself, the real you, not the performance, not the endless giver, not the emotional support system for people who never supported you, but the person underneath all that. The person who has needs and limits, and the right to stop caring about people who do not care about them. This person has been buried under years of conditioning. Under the belief that your worth is measured by how much you can endure. Under the expectation that empaths should be available to everyone. Under the weight of everyone else's emotions that you have been carrying like they were your own. But you cannot carry them anymore. You are full. Depleted. Done. And the moment you stop caring is your body, your mind, your soul finally saying enough. You thought this moment would feel like failure. Like you had become hard or cold or broken. Like you had lost the thing that made you special. But it does not feel like that at all. It feels like relief. Relief that you no longer have to monitor someone else's emotional state. Relief that their mood is no longer your responsibility. Relief that you can finally focus on your own life instead of managing theirs. Relief that you no longer have to care about whether they understand you or approve of you or appreciate you. The people who are panicking right now want you to care again. They will try everything to reignite that caring. They will create crises. They will love bomb you. They will apologize without meaning it. They will promise change that will never come. They will do whatever it takes to get you back to the version of you that was destroying yourself for them. But you cannot go back. Because the moment an empath stops caring is not a temporary state. It is a permanent shift. It is the death of who you used to be and the birth of who you are becoming. And who you are becoming is someone who understands that caring is a choice. Not an obligation. Not an automatic response. But a deliberate decision about where to invest your limited emotional resources. You are becoming someone who cares deeply, but wisely. Someone who loves fully, but with boundaries. Someone who feels everything, but does not absorb everything. The people panicking right now are not panicking because they lost you. They are panicking because they lost access to you. And there is a profound difference between the two. The panic intensifies as they realize you are not coming back. Not to the old patterns. Not to the old version of yourself. Not to the dynamic where you gave everything and they gave nothing. They watch you move through your life without them at the center of it, and they cannot comprehend what happened. What happened is simple. You woke up. And once an empath wakes up, there is no going back to sleep. Carl Jung believed that consciousness is the greatest burden and the greatest gift. You are carrying that burden now. The burden of seeing clearly. Of recognizing patterns you spent years ignoring. Of accepting truths you desperately wanted to deny. Of understanding that some people never loved you. They loved what you did for them. And this understanding changes everything. Because once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Once you know how little they cared, you cannot unknow it. Once you recognize how much of yourself you sacrificed for people who would not sacrifice anything for you, you cannot pretend anymore. The pretending is over. And that is what they are really panicking about. You remember the exact moment it shifted. Maybe you were in the middle of another circular conversation where they made promises they would never keep. Maybe you were crying alone again while they went about their life unbothered. Maybe you were explaining your feelings for the 100th time to someone who was never going to understand them. Maybe you were making excuses for them to yourself, and suddenly you heard how ridiculous those excuses sounded. Whatever the moment was, something inside you broke. Not in a devastating way. In a liberating way. The thing that broke was your investment in a relationship that was only taking from you. And when that broke, your caring went with it. Not your capacity to care. Just your willingness to waste that capacity on people who do not deserve it. Jung taught that we meet ourselves time and again in 1,000 disguises on the path of life. You have been meeting yourself in all the people you tried to save. All the relationships you tried to fix. All the potential you saw in people who refused to see it in themselves. You were trying to save the parts of yourself you thought were broken by saving others. But you were never broken. You were just giving your wholeness to people who were broken and hoping they would become whole enough to give something back. They never did. And the moment you stopped caring is the moment you finally accepted they never will. This acceptance is what terrifies them. Because as long as you kept hoping, they could keep disappointing you. As long as you kept caring, they could keep taking. As long as you kept believing in their potential, they never had to actually become that potential. Your caring gave them permission to stay exactly as they were. And your absence of caring means they now have to face themselves without you as a buffer. This is why the panic looks like anger sometimes. Why they accuse you of changing. Why they tell you that you are not the person they knew. Why they frame your self-protection as cruelty. Because you stopping caring feels like abandonment to them, even though they abandoned you long ago through their actions. Jung said that where love rules, there is no will to power, and where power predominates, love is lacking. The people panicking right now operated from power, not love. They had power over you as long as you cared. They could manipulate your caring. Use your empathy against you. Count on your forgiveness. Rely on your inability to walk away. But the moment you stopped caring, their power evaporated. And people who have had power do not give it up quietly. They fight for it. They rage against losing it. They panic when they realize it is gone forever. You can see them scrambling now, trying to figure out what will work, what button to push, what manipulation to use, what guilt to manufacture, what crisis to create, what version of themselves to perform. They are throwing everything at you to see what sticks, what will make you care again. But nothing works. Because you are not the same person anymore. The person who would have cared about their panic does not exist. The person who would have rushed in to fix them is gone. The person who would have sacrificed their own peace for their comfort has died. And in that person's place stands someone they do not recognize. Someone calm. Someone certain. Someone who can witness their spiral without getting pulled into it. Someone who can hear their promises without believing them. Someone who can feel their pain without taking it on as their own. This version of you is what Jung would call individuated. Separated from the collective. No longer defined by your role as the caretaker, the fixer, the eternal understander. You have become your own person. With your own needs. Your own boundaries. Your own life that does not revolve around managing theirs. The panic you are witnessing is their resistance to your individuation. Because your growth threatens the dynamic they benefited from. Your healing exposes their dysfunction. Your strength reveals how much they depended on your weakness. They need you to care because without your caring, they have to face reality. The reality that they are difficult. That they drain people. That they take more than they give. That they have been coasting on your empathy while doing none of their own work. Your caring was the shield that protected them from these truths. And now that shield is gone. Jung believed that the most intense conflicts, if overcome, leave behind a sense of security and calm that is not easily disturbed. You have overcome the most intense conflict of your life. The conflict between caring about someone and caring about yourself. For years, caring about them won. But now, finally, caring about yourself has taken its rightful place. And the security you feel now is unshakable. Because it is not based on their behavior. Not dependent on their approval. Not contingent on their presence. It is based on your decision. Your choice. Your commitment to yourself that no one can take away. The people panicking right now thought they knew you. They thought they had you figured out. They thought you would always be there because you always had been. They mistook your consistency for weakness. Your loyalty for desperation. Your caring for having no other options. But you had options. You always did. You just were not ready to exercise them until now. The moment you stopped caring is the moment you realized you could. That the world would not end. That you would not become a monster. That your empathy would not disappear. It would just redirect itself toward people and situations that deserve it. Jung taught that people will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul. The people panicking right now are doing absurd things to avoid this confrontation. They are creating drama, manufacturing emergencies, performing change, making grand gestures. Anything to avoid sitting with the reality that they lost someone valuable because they treated them as disposable. But you are not responsible for their avoidance. You are not required to care about their panic. You are not obligated to make this easier for them by going back to caring about people who never cared about you the way you cared about them. Their panic is theirs to manage. Their feelings are theirs to process. Their growth is theirs to pursue or not. You have spent years managing all of this for them. That job is over now. The moment an empath stops caring is the moment they reclaim their life. Not a life without empathy, but a life where empathy is protected, where caring is a choice, where emotional investment requires reciprocity, where love is mutual, or it is not engaged with at all. This is not cruelty. This is sanity. This is survival. This is self-respect. The people panicking will eventually stop. They will move on to someone new who does not know their patterns yet. Someone whose caring they can exploit until that person also stops caring. And the cycle will repeat because they refuse to look at themselves. But you broke the cycle. You stopped caring. And in doing so, you saved yourself. Jung said that the privilege of a lifetime is becoming who you truly are. The moment you stop caring about people who did not care about you is the moment you started becoming who you truly are. Not the performance. Not the endless giver. Not the person who needed to be needed. But someone whole. Someone sovereign. Someone who understands that caring is precious and should only be given to people who will honor it. The panic you see is not about losing you. It is about losing what you provided. And that is exactly why you were right to stop caring. Because you are not a service. You are a person. And you deserve people in your life who care about the person, not the service. The moment you stop caring is the moment you finally started mattering to yourself. And that is the only caring that was ever truly necessary.